Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. So, today is a fantastic day for Bitcoin and crypto. So, let's talk about what happened today, what to expect the remainder of this week, and let's talk about these crypto that are ridiculously undervalued. Yes, some crypto altcoins that are still far off from their previous highs. So that means they are still great to load up on. So let's talk about them as well, and let's do it. All right, guys. Welcome. Hey, today absolutely fantastic. Bitcoin pumped up to 102. Okay, since this morning, and it got up almost to 103, but right now just hovering around 102 and just sitting there looking pretty. I mean, overall, I don't need to restate what I've been saying for the past week or so, but man, look at Bitcoin. We have climbed up from 92,000 all the way back to 102. That's a $10,000 recovery. Okay, and that was to be expected. There were a lot of people fearing that Bitcoin was going to go to the 80s or 70s. I heard all these predictions, all this bearishness during the last few weeks. People predicting that, oh, we got to fill this gap, this CME gap at 70,000. Oh, the TA says we're going to go down to 80,000 and this and that. You know what? None of that happened. We recovered up and it's looking good, and we're not far off from all-time highs. All right? All-time high for Bitcoin is 108. We're only 6,000 points away. That could come as soon as tomorrow. And then that means the last 2 weeks completely wiped out. And that's what I've been saying. 2 weeks of corrections or 2 weeks of bearishness does not wipe out the entire year of 2024, which was absolutely fantastic, right? Anyways, in addition to Bitcoin, we got a lot of other great alts that recovered very well in the last few days and today. And even though they've recovered well, they are still very undervalued because they're nowhere near their previous high, right? So that means there's still time to load up. But first things first, let's talk about some breaking news from today. Number one, Michael Barr steps down. He's the Fed's head of banking. Okay, he's the top banking regulator. He's stepping down because he doesn't see eye to eye with Trump, who, of course, is going to be sworn in on the 20th. And that leading up to the 20th, we may just see like all this craziness happen because people are speculating that crypto is going to be really, really fantastic afterwards. So, so he's stepping down. And whoever he's replaced with is probably going to be pro-crypto. Okay. Which means Fed Chair Powell will have no choice but to embrace crypto. Even though he's not negative against Bitcoin or crypto, he's definitely not bullish. But if the second in charge of the Federal Reserve is now pro-crypto, well, that's going to force him to love it. That's basically what's going to happen. So we'll see who is his replacement. Now, you know who else is stepping down? Justin Trudeau. So basically, Canada is cheering because of this, because Justin has done some things that have not gained popularity, have caused a lot of Canadians to I don't know, to have outrage. Okay, and he's stepping down. Basically, everything's falling apart, right? And Trump also said that he may possibly impose a 25% tariff on all things coming from Canada. I don't know what's being imported from Canada. Maple syrup. That's about it. That's all I can think about that the U.S. imports from Canada. I don't know what else. But that also got him very scared. And basically, overall, I think everyone's cheering for that. But anyways, how that relates to crypto is this, that his successor will be pro-crypto, which means Canada becomes pro-crypto. Again, that's very good. Just like America and just like all these other countries that are turning pro-crypto and preparing to add Bitcoin onto their balance sheet and creating a strategic reserve, right? Canada may be the next candidate. I don't know. That's just speculation. Doesn't mean that the next prime minister is going to be pro-crypto, but seems like that's the popular thing these days. People are saying hockey. I was going to say hockey as a joke, but lumber. So it's just it's maple syrup, hockey pucks, and lumber. I doubt oil. I doubt we get oil from Canada. Anyways, also, we're going to get new ETFs this year. Okay? It's already been approved. So I've been making a big deal about ETFs ever since they were introduced for Bitcoin. Now we're going to have combo ETFs where you're going to have Bitcoin and Ethereum together. Okay? And now we also have Bitcoin options. We have Bitcoin futures. And you know what? This year is going to be crazy with ETFs. We have already ETFs based on like leveraging MicroStrategy and Coinbase. So pretty soon we're going to have ETFs based on companies that hold a certain amount of Bitcoin. We're going to have ETFs based on Bitcoin miners. We're going to have ETFs out the wazoo. And this is positive in my mind because it's just going to bring more money into the space one way or another, right? So I'd say that's pretty bullish. Pretty bullish indeed. What else is there? Today, Michael Saylor, he said something that not a whole lot of people have thought about, but it's kind of like, if you think about Satoshi, whoever he, she, or they may be, they may have passed away, they may have lost their keys, or they may be alive and well, but they're just not moving into their Bitcoin. But if you think about it, what Saylor said in here is very, very true. I'm going to play for just not moving into their Bitcoin. But if you think about, I think this is what he plans on doing. But I don't know. I listened to this. It doesn't really say he's going to do it, but it makes sense if he does it.
What I would say about Bitcoin, which is just wonderful, is if you accumulate a lot of wealth in Bitcoin and you just burn the keys when you leave, you're making a pro rata contribution to everybody that owns Bitcoin in the world based upon their contribution and their knowledge of Bitcoin. So I think that supporting Bitcoin as a protocol for prosperity is just a great thing to do. And otherwise, I think, you know, take the Bitcoin with you.
Yeah. Well, will you?
So he says that's a good idea, but he didn't actually say I will be doing that I will be burning my keys to the stash of Bitcoin that MicroStrategy holds, right? So, but he's hinting that that's what he's going to do, right? So Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy have accumulated like close to 500,000 Bitcoin now, and he will continue to accumulate. At some point, he's probably going to be over 1 million. You know, if he ever passes away and he just burns it all, it is a contribution to everyone else, right? It's just removing out of circulation forever. Although he didn't actually say he was going to do that. He was just hinting that it's a good idea for all Bitcoiners to just take it with them and burn their key. But he didn't actually specifically say he was going to do it. And also, if he did that, what about MicroStrategy? That company is going to go to zero if he does do that. So I don't know if the shareholders actually like hearing that he's going to be doing that. So, yeah. Anyways, but, you know, it is true, though. It is true. That is something, you know, to think about. None of us is going to live forever. And you know what? It's contribution to all if you just burn your keys rather than pass it on. So some of us may be crazy enough to do that. Okay, so that's pretty cool. What else is there? Just two more things about Bitcoin. You guys know I've shown enough charts over the years about cycles, about ignoring volatility, about ignoring the dips and zooming out and letting the gains come to you. And that's what this chart is showing. Okay. The past 2 weeks, we dipped a little bit. Does it even register when you zoom out? No, because it was a very, very slight correction. You don't even see a red because it doesn't really appear. Well, I take that back. You do see a red, but still, it's so tame of a correction versus some of the previous corrections we had. It's like a nothing burger, okay? And again, now that we're past it, things are looking much brighter. Sentiment's back. People are excited again. But the last 2-3 weeks, it wasn't like that. And I try to remind you guys that this is normal. We will pass. And we're going to form a new high this year. And we may never stop. We might not have another crypto winter after this. It could just keep on going forever because of all the institutions, right? Yeah, and this one, the last thing I'll say about Bitcoin is this. The network finalized more than 19 trillion worth of transactions in 2024. So not only is Bitcoin a wonderful, or you could argue the best store of value ever in history, it's also a great medium of exchange. 19.2 trillion, that's a lot, but still nowhere close to the peak of 2021 or 2022. But then again, if you compare it to 2020, which was the last halving year, it's more than triple. So if you look at that, okay, if we triple 2021's volume this year, you're talking about some serious numbers, okay? So we'll see. And what follows is the price. It always does. Fundamentals of Bitcoin continues to go up. Transaction volume, addresses, hash rate, et cetera, right? So all looking fantastic. Now, in addition to Bitcoin, what else is looking fantastic? Well, some alts are doing fantastic, okay? Like Sui, for example, is all-time high. But there are many alts that are not anywhere close to the previous high. That's because we're not in altcoin season, okay? Usually that happens at the end of a bull run. We're not at the end of bull run. We're only at the beginning. But you can see this list right here. Many crypto are still 50, 60, 70, 80% off from their previous highs. That means there are a lot of gains to be had, right? Still on the table. So let's talk about some of these. Number one is Avalanche. Avalanche is still down like 70% from their previous 2021 high. And that means, again, plenty of room for gains just to get back to the previous highs. We're not even talking about breaking through, right? Retail interest in Avalanche is up 47%, which is fantastic, but the team has been doing stuff, right? The latest is their Avalanche 9000 upgrade, which is still being conducted, still being worked on. But basically, this makes all their C chains and all their other chains, their main C chain and all their other chains, to be interoperable and have interchain communication, which makes things a lot better and smoother and overall, just better overall. Their TVL is also climbing up, not back to their previous high yet, but still one of the bigger chains at 1.43 billion. They topped out in 2021 close to 11 billion, right? So again, it shows there is a lot of room to grow. But again, compared to some of the other chains, right, they are far ahead. So they're still working with a lot of game makers. They have a couple of very popular games like Off the Grid, for example, that is on PlayStation 5, and they have several other games. But they're not only just concentrating games, RWA, some memes, you know, they're getting involved with everything. Here's something else. First loyalty program. Okay, the Smart OSC is going to be, it's going to be conducted in Vietnam. It's a loyalty program. So Avalanche has a lot of things going on. A lot of things going on. And if you're looking at it from a TA perspective, you could see how, it's still pretty far off from its previous high from 2021, but it keeps breaking upwards. You could clearly see that it keeps breaking up from this flag pattern, this bullish flag pattern, and happened twice. And, overall, if it continues, it's going to break out of this giant wedge, which means that it will definitely be ready to make its next leg up and continue forward and can possibly break through its previous high in short order, right? Which is around, I don't know what it is, around what does that look like? Like $130, $140? It could do that. It could do that. So Avalanche is number one. You got another one. And by the way, they are based in the US. They are on Coinbase. They can be ISO supported. So that's a big thing. Those are big things, by the way, especially when Trump takes over. But speaking of another project that's very similar, it's Algorand. Algorand is still down like 70%. No, 80%. Even though they have come up a little bit in 2024, they're still down like 80 freaking percent, which means a lot of room to grow. Okay. Algorand had sustained some FUD over the years. Their CEO, I believe, stepped down. Their biggest DEX went belly up. But since then, they've been still working at it. They're still around. Charles Hoskinson of Cardano loves Algorand, thinks that they could be a great AI chain. But more importantly, they're one of the big four now. Okay, Algorand is ISO compliant. It's in the US, on Coinbase, and they've been tracking the same movement as XRP and Hedera and Cardano. So that's why I call them one of the big four. Okay. They have things going on too. They're working with MasterCard, and their chart also shows that, hey, that's a double bottom right there. And they could definitely be heading higher too. Overall, I think they're going to have a great year because of what I said. American-based crypto projects once upon a time was very frowned upon because of Gary Gensler and the SEC. Now that he's gone, Trump is coming in and appointing all the pro-crypto people, including a new chair and new CFTC chair and everyone else in between. It seems like it's going to be a 180, right? And Algorand could definitely ride the momentum upwards. So another one that's very, very, very far off from their previous high. Now, lastly is Injective. Injective is also another L1. Did very well in 2023. Did well in early 2024. So far, since then, it's been pretty stagnant. These Injectives out of Cosmos. Most things in Cosmos haven't done that well, but Injective is also doing good things. Okay, this was just voted upon, the Injective 3.0, which really makes everything extremely deflationary. Injective 2.0 was already making Injective deflationary. 3.0 makes it even more deflationary. So when it comes to chains and coins, that's what you want, deflationary. But in addition, there's going to be ETPs, which is very similar to ETFs. They're launching. They're moving into AI. They also have memes. They got it all. They have a bridge. They have like a meme bridge that moves from Solana into it. They have a bridge to Bitcoin that could pull Bitcoin liquidity from it. They're really building it all. So it's looking good for them. This is a screenshot of something. I don't know what, but they're working on something big. So Injective, I believe, will have a bright future because they just keep working at it. That's all you want to see from these major chains and projects, right? Is progress and continued updates on what's being developed, and Injective has been doing really good at that. So good for them. Also, still very undervalued, but in fact, they're a little bit different because they actually broke through the previous high in 2023 or 2024, excuse me. So now they're off from their 2024 high, but they already broke through their 2021 high very, very early in 2024. But still, good project. Good project overall. All right, so those are our three, but obviously there are a lot more, guys. There are so many. I mean, just look at this list here, okay? So many projects, DeFi projects, DePIN projects, AI projects, games, layer ones, layer twos, layer zeros, memes that are still 40, 50, 60, 70%, 80% off from their, oh, that just crashed, from their previous high. So I'll start covering more as we move forward, right? Obviously, there's new projects also coming into the space, but I mean, there are so many that are still ripe for DCAing because there are still so much gains left just to get back to their previous high. We're not even talking about making a new high. Just to get back to their previous high, some of these projects has to do like a 2x, 3x, 5x, 8x just to get back. That shows you how wild things could get in 2025. All right. That's it. Let's do some Q&A. All right, let's see here. Let me scroll up. Let's see. Yeah, I see a lot of people love AVAX. I do too. Algo, not so many people. Some people were asking about ICP and Polkadot. I'm not bullish on either one of those projects. Rich, I appreciate that. Dustin. Last week, you haven't heard of Griffin. What do you think of it? Plus, I still haven't heard of it. I still have not researched it. Because I was on vacation, my man. Ready for altcoin season so I could buy one full Bitcoin. Altcoin season is a slow, gradual thing, just so you know. It's not going to like kick in tomorrow. You'll see brief spurts, I guess, or stints of alts doing very well, and then maybe Bitcoin just like being stagnant. But overall, Bitcoin is going to still continue to lead the way for quite some time before alts, you know, really dominate and Bitcoin dominance starts going down. Dustin, am I allocating Injective AI agents? No, I'm not in any AI agents because right now what's happening is AI agents, everyone and their mom is creating AI agent, trying to jump on a bandwagon. And the first few AI agents have done well, but now it's starting to get oversaturated. Just like memes. When celebrity memes are hot, everyone was jumping in. When memes are hot, people were jumping in. Now it's like everyone is trying to come out the AI agent. Even projects that have nothing to do with AI is coming out the AI agents, and they're just trying to utilize the momentum to create a new token and trying to make some money with it. I think that we're going to have saturation, we're going to have fatigue, and all these new AI agents are not going to be doing nearly as well. So I would be careful about FOMOing into all these new AI agents that are popping up. Someone's asking about desync. Destra. I don't know too much about it. 500 million. Decent market cap. Came out earlier this year. Broke their all-time high. Looks like they're on Ethereum. Next gen AI with decentralized computing. Okay, so DeepIn AI play. I don't know if I've seen this project before, but there are many others that like it. There are many like this. But let's see. 500 million is not bad. Total uncertainty supply looks good. Not a whole lot left to be released, or any to be released. Not on any major exchanges, so that's probably holding them back. If they get some good exchange listings, that could definitely help them move forward. I don't know about being on ETH though. That's kind of a turnoff. But overall, it looked pretty good. Thoughts on Turbo, AI, and a meme coin has nothing to do with AI, other than AI supposedly created it, but it has nothing to do with AI. And it's fine. There's not much to say about meme coins. It's either going to do well or it's not going to do well. They're not based on momentum. I mean, they're not based on fundamentals. They're all based on momentum. So if it has momentum, ride it. If it doesn't, there's not much else to say about it. Spectral. Yeah, so market cap to FDV, that looks horrible. So only 14% of the total supply has been released. So that's a big turnoff right there. So you can see FDVs at 1.3 billion, market cap's 145. So this is trying to trick you into thinking that it's a low cap project. It's not. It's a $1 billion project already. So, yeah. Transforming static memes to sentient agents, unleashing autonomous AI agents that think, trade. Okay, so I don't know how that works, how you create a meme into a sentient agent, but yeah. I don't know how that works. But the market cap to FDV is concerning and not on a lot of big exchanges. Sith Lord, your thoughts about, instead of AI agents, what about AI agent infrastructure tokens? Well, AI agent infrastructure is just DeepIn. It's just DeepIn projects are just basically, well, I guess the last project is considered an AI infrastructure, AI agent infrastructure, but like, I don't know, virtuals, do you consider that an infrastructure token? Because infrastructure is different, right? Is it just like a code base or like a white label solution, or are you talking about like real infrastructure, like cloud computing? So if it's like a normal DeepIn project, it can support AI or AI agent. But if you're talking about like a project that's meant to create AI agents, again, my thoughts is right now, number one, everyone is doing it because they're trying to ride a bandwagon. Number two, soon you're going to see saturation and fatigue, and they're not going to do well. So just be careful. J Bro, Cardano or Algorand? I personally like Cardano better. Why did Blue Zell get delisted from Binance? I have no idea. I don't even know of any updates. Here's the funny thing, because one of the founders of Blue Zell, like, I don't know what it is. He's doing like marketing for this project, Mixmob, because I'm an investor in it. And I see him all the time talking about Mixmob. And I'm like, aren't you a founder of Blue Zell? He's like, yeah. But it kind of concerned me because of the fact that he's like doing marketing for Mixmob. So I'm like, why don't you just work on Blue Zell instead? So that may be the reason why, because Blue Zell doesn't have a whole lot of stuff going on. There's supposed to be a decentralized database, and I don't know, they like shifted to something else now. K3, and what would George do? 0.1 Bitcoin to be a whole coin or buy Sui Sol AVAX? I can't tell you what to do, man. You have to figure that out. But you're so close to 1 Bitcoin, so being a whole coiner, why not? Why not get that done? XCD Network, I looked at this. It's an ISO compliant coin. But they're not on Coinbase, so that's holding them back. And they're not based in the US. So there's a couple things that's holding them back. Cody, no one's talking about Cody anymore. Not even Cardano. John Red says, my favorite crypto quote is, don't buy anything until you hold 1 Bitcoin, Charlie. I guess he did say that back in the day, before he sold all of his Litecoin, supposedly. Cycle Law, Brenner Brad. New member, welcome. Grincoin, hardest money in existence. Okay, if you say so. Drinking Degen here. Okay. Do you think Jewel is undervalued? I don't know if it's undervalued. I can't say for sure, because you could argue their previous market cap was overvalued. But they are definitely far away from their all-time high, and I know the team is working very hard to continue to push forward, make their game more fun and more gamey, and making partnerships and being more cross-chained. So they're doing a lot. All right, guys. That's it for tonight. Overall, today was a really good day. It was a good recovery day, just like yesterday. And we may see more of that tomorrow, right? We have Bitcoin back above 100. Not only 100, we're like around 102. You got like XRP that did well, 240 today. Solana is at 217. It crossed at 220 at one point. Sui still went higher. It came back down from its high, but still above $5. And you got so many others that made good recoveries today. But I think there will be more, a lot more, because there are so many projects that are still undervalued. All right, guys. Smash the like, subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys tomorrow morning, 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. All right? Don't be late.